Hello, Braves country and baseball fans everywhere. This is Coach Ken Anderson coming for Hardcore Braves. And looky, some of y'all been wanting this. It's just me and my main man, Ben. Ben, how the heck are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm good, man. We just took 2 out of 3 from a really good baseball team, so I can't complain. Even when one big dumb idiot on this podcast predicted they'd only win one, we prevailed and we got 2 out of 3.
Yeah, thank God for Matt Olson in the bottom of the ninth. So we'll get to that in game two. But the reason why Ben did that is this was the best pitching across the board starters we've seen all year long. So it was a good sign that we handled them well. So we'll get right on into it, Ben. Tuesday night, we take on Mr. Casey Mize. Before we get into the game, we wish Casey the best. He kind of tweaked a groin. But for us on the pitching side, as we won 5-2, Martin Perez, what can we say about him? He's an unsung hero this year. He went 5 innings, no runs. His command was a little off. He walked some batters, got some deep counts, but he got 5 strikeouts, gave us 5 shutout innings. What do you have to say about Martin Perez outing on Tuesday, but also for this year?
Man, he has been a consummate professional. Every time he stepped on that mound this year, you know that he's coming in and he's meaning business. And he's never been a bad pitcher either. He's dealt with some injuries in the past, but overall, he's been a very solid pitcher, albeit not great, but he's done his job. I mean, most people weren't even predicting him to be in the rotation or on the roster, period. So the fact that he's come in and pitched so well, I mean, I think he's got what, a 2.22 ERA. Like it's something really really ridiculous right now. I mean, good for him, man. And if people are nitpicking because he had 5 walks, I mean, or 4 walks, it's like he pitched 5 shutout innings. He can walk as many as he wants to as long as he's putting goose eggs in the run column.
Exactly. Me and you, when the season started, everybody asked us on Twitter and social media, what did we want to see? We wanted a left-handed starter. That's the reason why I think part of it is the reason why Alex didn't sign. He sees the same thing. So he goes out and takes a chance on Martin Perez, and Martin has done everything that anybody we could have signed could have done. So I think he's settled down the team here, and I think it's really a big part of the reason we're off to such a good start. And here's the good news, Ben. Strider's coming back, Waldrop's coming back, and he's the kind of guy to go in the bullpen for us, don't you think?
Yeah, he could definitely take over that Jose Suarez spot because I'm sure he's a nice guy. I am not a Jose Suarez fan.
No.
Martin Perez could fill that role quite well. And with Spencer coming back, we don't jump ahead on this podcast too much, but with Spencer coming back making his season debut on Sunday, I could easily see Martin Perez becoming the long man in the bullpen, that left-handed long relief option.
I do too, and I think the depth that Alex has put in place is going to be huge. As we go through the pitching before we get into our hitters, really good sign for Dieter coming out of the bullpen. That may be two of the best innings I've seen him throw. He looks so confident. I know the big debate started on Twitter. I know G talked about it and got in kind of some conversation. What about your thoughts, Ben, as far as I don't think myself as a pitching coach this is going to stunt his growth, but understand the concern that he's going to get enough innings to keep that up. With Dieter going to the bullpen, because he was outstanding Tuesday night.
Well, if you look at it, back in, I want to say 2016, 2017, there was a very young, very promising pitcher that came up to the major leagues for the Atlanta Braves, and he pitched out of the bullpen.
Makes about $35 million a year now, don't
he? Yeah, he makes about $35 million a year playing for the New York Yankees, starting World Series games and playoff games, and just being a perennial Cy Young candidate. Maybe not winning it, but candidate nonetheless. Now, that's all to say, if people are worried about Didier getting, his feelings hurt or getting his confidence blown, whatever it is, just look at Max Fried. Seriously, because that guy's carved out just an amazing career and he started out in the bullpen as well. So I'm not worried about it at all. Like let him pitch to some batters, let him get a couple of more, you know, developmental innings on those breaking and off speed pitches, and we'll ride on that.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm excited about his future in Atlanta. The other guy that come in and pitched very well was Tyler Kinley. He has really settled down, and he's really pitched well. And then we had Aaron Bummer pitch the ninth inning, and Aaron got tattooed for a two-run homer. Um, Again, it's the same old story. Kinley good, Bummer not so much. So anything on those two guys?
Kinley, he has been amazing for the Braves this year and last year after they acquired him. I mean, I talked to you about this, Ken. I said I don't know how Kinley's going to do because we saw Pierce Johnson come over and basically be the same exact pitcher his first half season he was here in Atlanta, and then the next season he was like, okay, not the elite reliever that we thought we were getting. Tyler Kinley's still been the elite reliever we thought we were getting, and he doesn't look like he's slowing down. Aaron Bummer, I really don't know what else to say. Like, again, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I don't want to see Aaron Bummer on the mound for my favorite team anymore.
Yeah, I don't. I'm done with him. And I've met him a few times. He's a really nice guy. Which,
Yeah.
as far as wins and losses, that doesn't really matter. We'll go ahead and mention now. That's Ryan's not here. It's been a very busy week for all three of us. We've been trying to patch it together, and we've been giving you great content. We do appreciate y'all. Our numbers keep going up, and we appreciate that. Y'all give us the energy to do this. Ryan's taking the night off, but I also think maybe he's just tired of talking about Aaron Bummer being not on this team anymore. So, Alex, do us a favor, get Bummer out of here. That way, Ryan can be on more shows with us. So with that said, let's get to the offense. Two guys who have struggled going into the series, Ronald Acuna Jr. and Mike Yastrzemski, were kind of the hitting stars. They both went 2 for 4. They both had a double. They had a run scored. They had an RBI. There's two guys that we got to get going, and there were some signs this series. We'll get to Game 3. We know Ronald struggled today, but let me tell you something. I was in the ballpark. Framber Valdez was on today. So that's kind of a one-off. But these two guys had a good night, and if we can get these two guys going, the lineup will even deepen even more, don't you think?
Yeah, I saw this stat on X about Ronald Acuna. He has had, I think, 25 batted ball events that have been over 100 miles an hour, and he's only had, like, I don't know, 12 or 11 that are hits. And yes, that's a very good batting average, but usually on those, you're looking at like a 600, 700 batting average. And his is sitting around like the 450 to 475 mark. And the doubles that he hit, or the hits that he had in that game one of them was an 80 mile an hour exit velocity double, and the other one was 106. So he's hitting the ball, and maybe some of the soft stuff is finally starting to drop for him. And then Yaz, I was so happy for him, man. Like, you can tell he's frustrated. He's in his own head, just like another hitter that we'll probably be getting to later in the podcast. But Yaz, good for him. I'm happy for him. Like I said on Twitter, I know he hasn't necessarily endeared himself to Braves fans, but hey, credit where credit's due, man. Good job.
Yeah, he had good swings again today. And Ronald had, to your point, had a 103-mile-an-hour ground out today, shortstop. So Ronald and Yaz, I'm not concerned with them whatsoever, guys. I know some of y'all are really on Yaz. Water will meet its level with both of these. Both of these will contribute. So also in the game, we were 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position. We just did a state of the offense for Braves Hip Coil, me and Ryan. The Braves are over 300 this year with runners in scoring position. Last year they were 240. That big difference you can see is making a difference, and probably the reason why we're leading in baseball in runs scored, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have situational hitting, and I looked it up the other day, and the fact that they're one of the lowest home run hitting teams with runners in scoring position. Granted, they helped that a little bit this series, but they have one of the fewest totals of home runs when runners in scoring position of anybody in the league, and that just goes to show you that they're doing their jobs when they're at the plate. They're getting runners on, they're getting them over and getting them in, and I can't argue with that philosophy. I mean, as long as it's scoring runs, it don't matter to me. You could bunt 4 times, and if it scores runs, then I'm all for it.
You know, the other thing that happened in this game is Ozzie hit his 6th home run of the year, and Ozzie's raking both from the right side and the left side. I've never seen him this confident, and Ryan said he wanted an 820 OPS, and me and you were like, let's at least get to 780.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to think he is going to have an 820 OPS. He's over 900. That's probably not going to be sustainable. But I brought up the fact today to a couple of fans in the stands, Ben, if he has the year that we think he's going to have this year, I believe he's going to sign an extension, and we might have Ozzie as a career Brave, which would be really good for Braves country because I think everybody loves Ozzie.
Yeah, I think everybody loves Ozzie, and that'd be great, to have him as a lifetime Brave. I think that there'd be that section of the fan base that are still mad that, Freddie wasn't a lifetime Brave or Max Fried wasn't a lifetime Brave, but you're also going to have the section of the fan base who I thoroughly like to call the smart ones who are going to be just thrilled that Ozzie is going to be here as a lifetime Brave as well.
Yeah, it's outstanding. And I think he's the captain on the team, even though he doesn't put the C on the chest. So we get to game 2, outstanding pitching matchup. The best pitcher in baseball, in my mind, Tarek Skubal, against our phenom, J.R. Ritchie. And the Braves win 4-3, and we all know it was very exciting. But let's go ahead and get into the pitching matchup. Skubal really threw the ball well. His changeup is unhittable sometimes. And Ritchie, though, showed no nerves, man. I mean, it's not pitcher against pitcher, but you can say that, but it is pitcher against pitcher. And his command was off. He didn't really have the feel of his off speed like he normally does, especially the curveball. But to me, this start showed more than the first start because he didn't have his best stuff, and he went and gave us 5 1/3 innings and gave us a chance to win. Now, in that, he gave up 2 earned runs, and he had – I don't know who called the pickoff throw. You can touch all this stuff around J.R. Ritchie. If it was Jonah, if it come from the bench, or if he took it on himself. But with 2 strikes on the hitter, and 2 outs, you probably just don't need to make that throw. He gave up and run. That was on him. But overall, I thought he threw the ball great. And to show that kind of persevere, Tom Glavine always said, Ben, it's when you don't have your best stuff and you pitch well. That's when you know you got a pitcher, and I think we have a pitcher in J.R. Ritchie. How about yourself?
Yeah, man, we definitely do. It did show up some of the command issues that have kept him from being a true top-flight prospect in baseball. If in the minors, he has struggled with command at times. He, can be a little erratic. He can walk guys. He can leave a few pitches in the middle of the plate, this, that, the other. However, he has shown the moxie to be able to get up on the hill and battle. And he went toe-to-toe with probably the best left-handed pitcher we've seen since prime Clayton Kershaw.
Agreed.
And that is ridiculous to say because Tarek Skubal is an absolute freak on the mound. And it's also kind of funny to me how in this series, we won the 2 games where the pitchers weren't having the best command. They didn't have their best stuff that night. And then we have a day game today where, Bryce Elder pitches his butt off and has a very good game, and we lose this one. I mean, just go figure. Baseball's funny like that.
It is. And we'll get to game 3, and I have what I think that cost us the game, and it's different than anybody is pointing to. I was able to talk to Ryan on the phone. And also I talked to Stash on the phone. He's still out there, guys, even though he's not tweeting. And we talked about a little bit of the game. We'll get into that. So the game was a pitcher's duel. You need offense. And against Tariq, we were talking about we need to manufacture runs. Maybe some small ball, whatever. Ozzie said, no, we're not small balling anything. I'm going to take this 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and I'm going to deposit it in the Tigers' bullpen. I'm going to give us a 2-0 lead. Beautiful hitting. I mean, Ozzy's a beast. And what do you think about Ozzy telling Tariq Skubal, "You're not getting that fastball by me"?
Brother, I thought it was so funny because I posted that tweet yesterday talking about, how where Ozzy ranks all time in Braves, second base franchise history. And then he goes out and is like, you know what? I like where your head's at, Ben. You talking about me being a good player? I'll just take back-to-back Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal yard, and he did it, and it was just great to see. I mean, like you said, I couldn't have said it any better. Dude is swinging the bat great from the right and the left side this year.
Yeah, he's tremendous. And he was kind of out in front of a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. That was beautiful. So the game goes back and forth, 3-2. We get into, our bullpen. Walt decides to go for the win. He goes Dillon for multiple innings, and that played a big factor into the day because we didn't have Dillon today. What do you think about the decision of Walt saying, "Let's go for the win," and let Dillon and Reynaldo both pitch multiple innings and to get the victory? I like it myself. He saw he could get a victory, and he went for it. He thought he could hit the Tigers bullpen. So what are your thoughts on Walt deciding to go for a victory there and Dillon and Raylo pitching multiple innings?
Listen, I know it was April 29th, all right, and it's very early in the season, but seeing Walt manage this game like it is a division game in August or a division game in September, I got to tip my hat to him. I mean that's a fantastic managerial job. He saw there was a path to a win in this game, and even though they weren't winning at the time, they still were staying in it. And Walt knew that there was. I mean, you could do anything. So I like seeing that glimpse into what is hopefully the future of us battling for a playoff spot, or shoot, even if we get into the playoffs, that's how his managerial style is going to help win ball games in October.
I agree, and I think it shows that we should have a lot of confidence in Walt knowing which games to go for in September to get us, and hopefully maybe we'll keep battling the Dodgers for home field in the National League playoffs, which I think would be a huge help for us. So he keeps us in the game. We go to the ninth, and one of the things, we'll get to the fact that this team just does not quit, but Ozzy's at bat was beautiful. He works a walk, and even though the umpire tried not to give us a walk, and it was beautiful. Ozzy again challenged, and I tell you what, it may be becoming one of my favorite things in 2026. When Ozzy challenges, he knows he's right. He just goes to first base. That was beautiful, wouldn't it be? And he's no, that's a ball. I'm going to first. And
I think we should take challenging privileges away from everybody not named Ozzy Albies.
I think so too, especially Ronald Acuna. Look, they're best friends. You think Ozzy would somehow get him in a room somewhere? Maybe they'll go to Colorado, and you know what they have in Colorado? They'll lay back and maybe do one of those things and relax, and he'll teach him how to win the challenge because Ronald's terrible at it. Ozzy's great at it. So he gets to walk, and we talked in Hip Coil, and I talked about Kenley throws from a catcher. He's a former catcher. And when he gets in trouble, that cutter, he tends to do this, which elevates the cutter. Ozzy saw that, drew the walk, told Matt on deck, who saw the same thing. Matt was looking for the raised cutter, and he didn't miss it, Ben.
Now, I made the comment to my fantasy baseball group that I have. Kenley is on my team as one of my relief pitchers, and so I was like, the baseball gods are going to bite me in the butt one way or another here. I mean, it didn't matter. Either the Braves were going to lose the game or my fantasy baseball team was going to lose. So I was happy to lose my fantasy baseball matchup that night. But, watching Matt and how happy he was too, man. Like, congratulations. That was his first ever walk-off as a Brave, or walk-off homer as a Brave. And just congratulations to him. But that Ozzy at bat, like, that is something that Ozzy's game has been sorely missing for quite a few years, is being able to take that walk. He's known as a free swinger. He's going to swing at a lot of pitches. But Him and another guy on this team who generally plays center field. They are taking their walks like madmen right now. All right, combined, they're still not where Ronald's at, but that's beside the point.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a great job.
Yeah, they have 7 apiece between them, so they're on pace for over 40 walks this year. And if you'd have told us for the season they both get over 40 walks, you feel like they're going to have a great year. So we were going to discuss something else in this game too, but we'll wait to game 3 because it continues, and we're going to talk positive about the team. We're also going to tell you honestly, and we'll get to Mr. 27 in a second. Let's get to Wednesday's game, today's game. When we went in this series, we knew how tough the pitching matchup was going to be, and Fromber was on. The thing that kind of is disappointing is Bryce was on too. So Bryce throws 6 innings, has 5 Ks, and he's really moving along. And I think the difference in the game was I think he really wanted Bryce to go 7 today and let Kenley pitch the 8 and Suarez pitch the 9th. Bryce got in a little trouble in the 6th, and his pitch count went where he would have entered the 7th with 84 to a pitch count of 93. Those 9 pitches, people don't think make a big difference. It does. Because today it brought Kenley in the 7th, and he got through his inning, even though he was a little off with his control again. But we got through, and this is where Walt made the decision. So we're going to go the other way. Did Walt make the right decision? Because it's a big question on Twitter of not trying to go for another win. Me personally, I'll give mine first, Ben. If you disagree, I respect your opinion. You know that a ton. I don't think with one of our closers down that we ever want Suarez to pitch a 2-inning save anyhow in a game in April. Now, this is October, September. I think he would have went for it. So you're paying good money to Piamps to get people out, and he did not do that. Now, in Joel's defense, I really think a healthy Michael Harris probably catches that ball in center. You know, Eli Watt gave a hell of an effort. And that was a rocket off the ground that high hopped over Austin's head that kind of get the game tied. But with that said, I didn't have no problem with Walt not going for it then, just because of the situation that's going to Colorado where we know we're going to have to use a lot of pitchers. And not that we punted on the game, but he didn't use Suarez in a 2-inning save there. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. I mean, there's no point in running down your arms, especially your best arms, in April. And I know I just talked about how I liked how Walt, managed game 2, but you can't do that consistently in April and May. Now, once you start getting to the later months like July, August, September, yeah, it's all sales down, forward, whatever, and you obviously want to take those extra chances later in the year. But like you said, with Rysel already down, regardless of if he's progressing well or not, you still don't want to take that chance with Robert Suarez maybe getting hurt and being overused. I mean, you just can't afford that because that will hurt you in October, but well before it'll hurt you in May.
I agree, and I thought he did it right. And, he still went to Bummer, and Bummer had a 4-pitch walk, and they got a run, and they were up, and then it's 3-2. He got out. Bummer actually got out of the jam. The 4-pitch walk is aggravating against a left-hander, but he got out of the jam. And we go to the 9th, and Suarez comes in and strikes out the first 2 guys. We're going to be down 3-2, and he just went sideways with Jose Suarez. And we're not going to talk no more on Jose Suarez. Everybody knows hardcore Braves. We want Jose out of here. And so the game gets to 5-2, and the Tigers win. Again, as Ben pointed out before the series started, this is a good baseball team. So you still took 2 out of 3. But offensively, let's look at what was the bright side. And then we're getting there, folks. Promise you, we know what you want us to talk about. But the bright side was Eli White and Mauricio Dubon both had RBI singles. Both of them in pretty good spots where people had felled in front of them, then they hit. Ozzie is Ozzie. He had a double and a single today. Overall, the offense faltered a little bit. It's not our A lineup. We keep telling everybody when they put a left-handed pitcher on the lineup, until Kim and Murphy get back, it's going to be pretty hard. So, what are your thoughts on how the offense performed, and do you think Murphy and Kim coming back will help fix that against left-handed pitching?
Well, first, I kind of want to say something just kind of off the wall for just a second. But how about Kevin McGonigal, man? That kid's a ball player, dude. Like, he is phenomenal at the game of baseball, and just a treat to watch hit. But getting back on topic, sorry about that. I just had to
tell
get
you
props
something
to
real
him.
quick about McGonigal. We're not going to get off topic, Braves fans. We know who you want to talk about. If you have not seen Kevin McGonigal, he doesn't win the Rookie of the Year this year, and I want him to only because he gets hurt. That kid has the best swings I've seen all year of any player that played against us. Any player. Every at bat is like our pitchers trying to pull teeth. They could not figure out a way to get him to put the ball in play. And Detroit, you got somebody special in McGonigal.
Yeah, that kid is really, really good. But back on topic, with Sean Murphy and Ha-Seong Kim coming back, I think the Braves lineup can take that extra step. They're great right now, but that will allow for guys like Austin to take a day off, who, like you said, we'll get into here in a minute. But it'll also allow for guys like Mauricio Dubon to take a day off, even though, he's been kind of slumping a little bit here recently. He's done okay, but not what he was whenever first 2 weeks of the season. Giving those guys just a day off here and there is going to be phenomenal. But you're also boosting the floor of this team because you'll have Mauricio Dubon, who I think is a better offensive player than Eli White. And so if Michael needs, to miss time or whatever, well, you can still have Ha-Seong Kim at short and put Mauricio Dubon in center field, and you're not going to miss too much of a step, offensively as far as that goes. And then Sean Murphy coming back, being able to catch, take more days off Drake Baldwin's legs. He'll be able to DH more, and then that'll allow you to not have Jonah Heim behind the plate, which Jonah hasn't done a terrible job, but I'd much rather have Sean Murphy back there than Jonah Heim.
Yeah, I think most people would. I mean, he's a better catcher. It'd be interesting. We'll get into that in our one of our last segments on what we're going to do here. So, y'all been wanting us to do that, so we'll talk about 2-7. Absolute horrendous series. Over 11, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. I've never seen him as lost as he has played. I talked to Ben on the phone this afternoon. It's the closest thing I've seen to B.J. Upton when a guy comes to the plate. I feel bad for him. Like, I don't think he can get a hit or whatever. But Grant McCauley threw out a stat today. He's still hitting. Now, Framber Valdez is a one-off. He pitched great today. But other than that, he's hitting right under 300 against left-handers. His trouble is against right-handers. Ryan talked about it in a tweet. He is really pulling out, trying to get to that fastball, and it's really leaving him vulnerable to the off-speed. That's how he missed the line shot down the line. He was too far out in front. He missed it by 4 inches. That ball is usually fair from Austin. So the other thing that Kim coming back does, you can give Austin a day off or somebody a day off when he's in his slumps. I don't know how Walt gets him through right now. I would say that another bad game like he had today, and again, I think you have to take into account Framber was good, but he has a similar kind of game. It would not surprise me that they don't put Farmer or Mateo into the lineup just to give Austin a game off his legs. What are your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, they need to do something, man. Austin is so far in his own head right now. It is just it almost hurts to watch. I mean, because we know who Austin Riley is and can be. I mean, we saw 3 straight years of him hitting 30 homers, 90 ribbies, hitting 270 and above. Like, we know that he's a good hitter. We know he's one of the best third basemen in the league. And then the past 2 years, it's just been like, what happened? And I made the comment, I think last pod that I was on was we have seen Austin Riley look this bad before, but since I said that, oh, I'm agreeing with you now. Like we really have not seen him look this lost since he came up, and that includes that long stretch his rookie season where he was just abysmal at the plate. So I hope he can figure it out, man. But it is just not looking good right now.
No, in that rookie season, the problem was he couldn't hit the slider. He can't even hit the fastball right now, and
Yeah.
that's the concern. So before we get into a lot of news coming up for the road trip, we got a lot of news me and Ben got to cover real quick. 4-2 homestand. That's still good, Ben. Overall homestand, your thoughts? I am very positive to take 2 out of 3, both of them. That's what you want to do. That's the old Bobby Cox method. We don't lose a series. We cannot not make the playoffs. He used to say all those negatives in there that made it a positive. So, what do you think about the homestand overall and 4-2 and getting out of town with the best record in MLB?
I would say a 4-2 homestand is wonderful and great, but we lost two Braves greats and Blooper and the um, executive head of on field. What was his name again?
Ed Mangan, both Ed
Ed
Mangan and
Manning.
Blooper have retired. So,
Yeah,
shake up in Atlanta.
Ed Mangum and Blooper have retired. We appreciate all your services. I know Ed Mangan was there for what 50 years. I mean, he was
Feels
there
like
for a
he's
long time.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two
So
ballparks. He wasn't there since about 97, so that's a long time. So that's what,
yeah,
30 years. He got 30
30
years.
years. Okay. So I mean, congratulations on retirement, guys. But put a damper on your 4-2 homestand a little bit, if you ask me.
Yeah, it was. And I'm sure the Braves will find somebody, but yeah, it's a tough nail when you start seeing some of the guys that you've known forever retire. So here comes the toughest road trip of the year. If you looked at our schedule, it's not as much the team as the travel. They're going to send us to Colorado for 3. That's difficult. The Rockies, by the way, are playing good ball, guys. They're right up under 500. They're not the Rockies we all thought they were. They've got a couple of guys in their lineup that can absolutely rake. Hunter Goodman is the star on that team. Ezekiel Tovar is a star on that team. They've got some guys that can really hit. Their pitching staff has actually thrown pretty well this year. We're going to get their 3 best in Quintana, Dollander, and Freeland. Their back end of the bullpen has 2 guys that are pretty good. One is a former Brave, Victor Vognet, and he throws gas. And they've got a young kid that sets up for them. So not that easy of a series. Then we go to Seattle and then to LA. We don't have to say any more on that. We know that's difficult. So let's take baby steps. We're going to Colorado first. What are your thoughts on the Rockies series coming up? And by the way, we are going to throw our best 3 at them. That's a good sign. We're going to throw Holmes. We're going to throw Sale. And we're going to throw Mr. Spencer Strider. So we're going to throw 3 good pitchers. So what are your thoughts on going to Colorado?
Well, if Colorado being in Denver doesn't get Austin Riley going or Ronald going, then it might be time to bench him for a game or 2 after that because ain't nothing gonna get them going. And they're facing a couple of lefties in Quintana and Freeland as well. So um, I know that Colorado going out west in general is a tough task, but going to Colorado, with the thin air and everything like that, I mean, there's no getting used to it. I've been out there a couple of times myself, and just going up a flight of stairs for a fat man like me, it gets to be a difficult task.
Same for me.
But I think that they can. I think they can pull it off this series. I think they'll. Well, I'll wait to get my prediction.
Yeah, and interesting. Walt come out after the game, and Michael's really dealing with a tight quad, so he's going to DH on this trip, and I'm excited about that. He's trying to avoid the IL, and I don't mind that. He's hot right now, and I'd want to avoid it too. Seattle and Colorado both have big outfields, so you can see what the Braves are doing. My question for you, Ben, is Are we taking Dominic Smith just completely out of the lineup?
You shouldn't. He's been hitting so well. Like I get it, it's lefties coming up 2 out of 3 games, but I want Dom Smith in my lineup. Dang it!
Yeah, this is a tough call for Walt. I think it's his first big managerial series here. How is he going to get through Colorado? By the way, this is Walt returning to the only place else he managed is in Colorado. So we got that going for us. Also on this road trip, Mr. Sean Murphy is going to make his return. He's going to return in Seattle. So before we talk about what we expect out of Sean comes up. Who goes down? Well, I've been thinking Mr. Farmer, but now I'm thinking it really depends on how Michael reacts in Colorado because that makes a pretty easy transition. Michael to the IL, Murphy on the team. What are your thoughts about Sean and how we're going to address that?
Well, I hate to tell you, but that'd just be a kick in the family jewels if Michael Harris has to go on the IL for any length of time. I mean, but he has been one of the best hitters on this team all year, and he has just been raking, looking like an MVP candidate. And just for him to miss time right whenever he's hot, I mean, that kind of stinks for sure. But I'd rather him be better, going into the later months of the year than to really tear something up in April or May.
Exactly.
But Sean Murphy, I'm ready for him to be back. I like Sean Murphy. I've always liked Sean Murphy. I know he's kind of divisive in a lot of Braves Twitter, but overall, I'm ready for him to be back.
I am too. So we'll see with Michael. I guess this Colorado thing will tell us a ton on that. So the last game of the series, let's talk about him before we get into all of our good attributes, including the MVP and the Play of the Tiger series and what we think will happen in the Rockies Braves series. Spencer Strider is going to make his season debut on Sunday. Everybody in Gwinnett says it's the best he's looked since like the old Spencer. Do we expect the old Spencer, a little rust? What are we expecting out of Spencer on Sunday?
I look at this start of him going into Colorado and making his season debut pretty equivalent to how I looked at J.R. Ritchie going toe-to-toe with Tarek Skubal in his second career start. You are asking a tall task from somebody when you ask him to do something like that. So, I mean, I have faith that Spencer's good, and I think that he will return to at least close to his peak form, but it remains to be seen. And I don't want to have, major expectations for somebody who I haven't seen pitch to their best ability in a couple of years now. So I can see him maybe pitching 5, giving up 1 or 2, and striking out 6. But I don't think they push his pitch count too far.
No, I don't either. I think he'll keep his pitch count down to around 90 or below. The interesting thing is Spencer's 2 of his biggest strikeout games were against the Rockies. So it's probably a good test to see where he exactly is. So let's get into all the accolades. Let's go to the Tiger Series. What was your play of the Tiger Series?
Do you even have to ask? You know what my play of the Tiger Series is, and that is Matty O walk-off 2-run bomb, game 2, in a game where Tarek Skubal was the starting pitcher, and you come out with a W in that game. I mean, that is – I know we lost in game 3, so the momentum didn't carry over, but shoot, I can't ask for a better ending to a game where you're facing somebody tough like Skubal.
No, 100%. It's Matty O. I mean, that's anytime you have a walk-off, it's probably going to be our MVP of the series, unless somebody happens to throw a no-hitter or something in that same series. As far as the play of the series, MVP of the series, who's your MVP of the series?
MVP of the series, I mean, kind of have to go with Matt Olson. He pitched. He had a good series.
You should have pitched the 8th inning of the day. Go ahead.
What's that?
Maybe he should have been the one to pitch the eighth inning
Hey,
today.
maybe so. No, he had a very good series, man. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but he did phenomenal this series. And the walk off homer, it's very hard to pick anybody else for me.
I like the choice. I'm always for Matteo winning every award. So, but I'm going to go with somebody else. I'm going to go with the little monsters, you like to call him. Ozzy Albies was good every game this series. I think without him, we would not have won the series. So we haven't gave Ozzy love yet for the MVP. So let's give Ozzy a little love. I think both of those choices are really good. So let's go ahead and wrap it up a little bit. What do we see as the outcome in the Rocky series to start our hardest road trip of the year?
I think we keep the good times rolling, man. I think we go 2-1.
I do too. I like our matchups. I like hitting against Quintana a little bit. He can be tough, but I like getting him definitely out in Colorado. So his movement on his curveball should be a little bit different. Dollander has given us fits.
Yeah.
So I do worry about him. We usually hit Freeland, who I think is a really good pitcher. For some reason, we match up well. So I think we're going to win 2 out of 3. So before we close it out of here, what is your final thought you have tonight? Anything off your head? It could be talking anything from this series, the team. What do you got?
I have a Hurston Waldrop video that is in the making. With the good news coming out about his recovery and him pitching a bullpen either next week or early or late this week.
Yep.
I thought it might be a good idea to finally record and edit the video that I wrote the script for before spring training started. So, want to get that out. And then also Eric Hartman video should be releasing on Sunday for your Ben's Baby Brave segment of the week. And yeah, I mean, if you really are starved for some good baseball to watch, I beg you, please check out a Rome or Augusta or Gwinnett or even Columbus game, because there is talent all up and down the minor league system for the Braves. And if you really just want some good baseball, please check those guys out.
I agree, and our minor leagues are playing very well too, so they're fun to watch. So, my final thought tonight is we're going to do our first Coaches Corner roundtable Saturday. Some of y'all have written me and said, I'm not sure I want to get on there. Look, once you see it, you're going to realize you're going to want to get on it. It is your chance. Y'all scream all the time, how can I get my word out? We know that we're being followed by a lot of the Braves brass, including its players, and who we've become friends with. Me and Ben talk all the time. We're making connections. So if you've ever wanted to say something to any of the Braves, as long as it don't get personal, we're going to allow you to do it. This is your chance. You can even say good stuff. What bad stuff you could really say. There's a few things probably, but this team deserves a lot of praise. We're going to do that, tape that Saturday, and it'll come out. We're going to do that once a month, so make sure you jump on there. Aaron is killing it on TikTok, guys. At Aaron on Deck, make sure you check her. She keeps getting stronger and stronger. She's had some good videos. She says she's got a lot more new stuff coming. Lethal did a look at the best hitters at Rome and Augusta. If you did not see that, shame on you. Jump in there. He did a really good job. Check that out. It's up on Hardcore Braves and at Lethal Platty. Ryan Tipcole is crushing. He did a Ronald Acuna thing, and it just went off the charts. Y'all liking him, jump on him. It's at Disgusting Homer 27 at Braves Hip Coil. And Ben, I know you got Ben's Baby Braves. Who are we looking at coming up Sunday?
Yeah, Eric Hartman.
Okay.
You better respect his authority because he is coming. I think good video on him, and he's one to be pretty excited about so far in the early going.
I didn't realize I got to watch some film. Ben encouraged me to watch a little film of him. The guy can absolutely crush the baseball. I think he's got like 8 homers already this year, so
Yep.
it's amazing. You find Ben at Weaver_cards. He has a YouTube channel. Finally, I've been encouraged. He had one before, but he's now busting out there. Jump over there and support him. He's going to put all his stuff. Again, we're going to put everything on Hardcore Braves, but you'll do us the biggest favor by also following us on our own stuff. It will help us. And again, I keep promising you keep putting stuff on there, the more we're going to bring you and get you on. Me and Ben are working on a new series on Ben Braves that we're going to bring some people in and let you see how the organizations are being run. And our goal is when the draft comes up to have one of the Brave scouting people to come on our show. So me and Ben have big plans for our minor leaguers. So please jump in there. Remember, you follow us on all social media platforms at Hardcore Braves. And remember, we can't do this without you. You give us the energy. Keep doing that. And as always, go Braves. And we love you. And we're out. Peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.